Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to episode 8 of the Pathway to Healing series. I am Chi Ilochi, the lead coach and founder of Directing Paths LLC. I'm intuitive transformation coach, and I have the pleasure of speaking with my amazing, can I say baby sister? Is that okay?
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay. Amazing baby sister, Chi Ilochi, who is a fashion stylist and an image consultant. So I thought it would be perfect to bring her on today because what we fail to talk about a lot of times is that we don't have to look like what we are going through. And a lot of what she does is she styles clothing for so many different people. I'm going to let her explain that in a second. But her focus is really on the mental health aspect of healing through style. So I'm going to pass it along to you and just you can go ahead. If I miss anything, you can just go ahead and add to that. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm Chi Ilochi. It's an honor to be speaking with you today. I look up to what you do and your message and your mission for your company. And it's pretty cool that you reached out to me to have like this opportunity to tie in health, healing with style because they go hand in hand, as I said before. So I style everyone from your celebrities, your models, those that struggle with mental health, physical illness, those who are autistic, even the elderly, because grandma has to look cute. And every single client I style, it's important that they're comfortable, but that they feel like there's some sort of transformation, which really ties into what you do. Because if I'm styling you and you feel the same way you felt before, I didn't do my job. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's not about the glitz and glam, it's about making the client feel good mentally, emotionally, and physically.
That's awesome. And I actually should have put celebrity fashion stylist because I forgot that you have
Uh,
worked with the stars and you are what, just about to be 21, doing so much out in this world already. So that is, listen,
Thank
you
you.
gotta accept your accolades. So let's get
Working
started
on it.
on let's get started talking about what you do. One of the things that I really liked that you did was you do a lot for suicide prevention and raising awareness on that. Um, and correct me if I'm wrong, have you had different styling or different fashion shows or different things that you created that raise awareness to suicide? And what was the benefit of that? What was the outcome of that? And really, what was just kind of your thought process when putting something together like that?
This past summer, I had a kind of like a styling gig. And how would you word it? It was a styling session. It was a breakdown about style and the benefits that it has to your mental health. It was for Manchester Craftsman's Guild in in Pittsburgh. And it was a great opportunity to connect with some of the students who are like in high school, who are in college, and getting their perspective on how they view style. And a lot of
Hmm.
them didn't really see it as something that was really important because no one really breaks it down either. I feel like
Yeah.
in any kind of medium you're in, everyone deserves to be healed. So getting it was kind of like a revelation for them to see, okay, if I'm wearing black sweats, that's going to affect my mental. If I'm going to
Hmm.
class, if I'm going to the store, if I'm waiting for the bus, and seeing how they were so happy, so excited, especially at the shoot when we did it in person and telling them the tips and speaking with all of them. It was an amazing feeling because it kind of felt rocky at first because I was like, you know what? They're not really feeling this. But when you break it down to them and you talk from personal experience, having struggled with mental health myself, it really makes them feel like that they can connect with you. And it's all about a connection when you're styling.
I love that. And you know what, that's something that we don't talk about often. When you think about mental health, um, people who've been in abusive relationships, any aspect of mental health, we do focus on, okay, I've heard people say, even about myself in some instances at the time, that you don't look the same, you don't look like yourself, you used to dress a certain way. And I think we forget that how we dress sometimes and how we um, make ourselves look, it doesn't even have anything to do with being materialistic or anything, but feeling good about yourself. And because the first thing that goes a lot of time when we're dealing with mental health issues is how we look. And a lot of
Definitely.
times you can look at someone and tell this person is going through something. So I think that's amazing that you were able to, especially for the younger generation too, you're able to say, hey, look, let me show you how changing what you wear, changing, dressing up, how that'll make you feel like you're successful, or it'll make, because I know there are studies that show that if you're wearing a certain type of clothing, you know
Right.
you can start to
Yes.
feel better about yourself. You want to talk a
Mhm.
little about that?
There was a study I read maybe a few months ago that said, I don't want to quote it wrong, but it basically confirmed what you just said, that it affects your mental. If you wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm going to put an all black outfit on, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to have a good day. And like studies have shown that when you wake up in the morning, you're like, okay, I'm going to put this blazer on, I'm going to wear these jeans, you're more than likely to have a good day because you feel better. And to tie into what you said about abusive relationships, I'm no expert on that because that's not my field, but
Hmm.
it's important for one as a stylist and just as a human, just in general, that you learn to learn the right way to point out the obvious. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Sometimes coming up to someone like, you do not look the same. Uh, it didn't help.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
productive. It didn't do anything. It's not changing the situation I'm in. Um,
Especially when you already feel like crap, and
right,
someone being like, you look like crap, thank you. Thanks for
right.
noticing.
And everyone isn't a stylist and everyone isn't a friend. But
Hmm.
sometimes when you're out with a friend, you could say, you know what, we should go shopping one of these days. It can be just as casual as that. And if you're a stylist and you're consulting someone who's in an abusive relationship, you can say, hey, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? When you look
Mm.
in your closet, do you feel any kind of excitement? Are there any colors that pop out? You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you point out what someone's already going through, I shouldn't leave. I mean, if everybody
Yeah.
else notices it and it's kind of normal that I don't look different and I don't feel the same, then there's no issue. And then you kind of subconsciously normalize it that you can just stay
Yeah.
there. You don't look
Yeah.
bad, but you don't really look good. So I think that's really important to not do.
And I want to take a moment here and let's just bring attention to your glasses. Are there, I just, is that a frame, or is it just like is there a glass in there?
Nope, there's no lens or anything.
I,
It's just like,
you know what? Too fashion forward for me.
thank you.
It's too fashion forward.
I'll send you a
So
pair.
let's talk about color, because I love black and I'm happy. So are you saying that if a person, if a person likes to wear all black, and it's slimming too, you know,
It is.
so is it that the color itself makes a person have feel negatively about themselves or impacts their mood, or is it the style of the clothing? What exactly is it that goes into the mood?
Well, that's just that. You just said you were happy. So
Yeah.
you're a happy person. I'm kind of talking about for those who were already depressed, putting the color black
Mhm.
on. You know what I mean? I'm not in a depressive state, so wearing black doesn't bother me. You can also
Mm.
color black up. You know what I mean? As you say, you can wear some nice black jeans. I know you love a booty, and you can put on like an orange blazer or a yellow blazer or something because you already
Mhm.
feel good. You know what I mean? For those who were already down, depression is kind of like addictive a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm.
when you're
Yeah.
already sad, you're like, well, everything around you is kind of a product of who you are. So if you're
Yeah.
already sad, why would you put on a black blazer?
Yeah.
Why would you put on something that's
Or
already
frumpy, or
right?
and
And
I love
also,
that.
oh,
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, it's an exercise as well. It forces you to want to live. You know what I mean? It forces you to, as you said, to heal loudly. Because you know what?
Hmm.
I may not feel it, but my clothes can be a projection of what I want to feel in the future. And who's to say I won't be that person? So when you wake up in the morning and you look in your closet, and I'm challenging you to find one bright piece of clothing, you know what I mean? Your bright can be a tan, your bright can be a brown, but it can't be black. It can't be it can't be that color for you that's a negative color. And for a lot of people, it's black and gray. I challenge anyone who listens to this who's not necessarily in a good place or who's going through some kind of abusive relationship or whatever the case may be to wake up in the morning, find a bright piece of clothing, put it on, and take a walk. You don't
I
have to go to
like
the
that.
grocery store. You don't have to hang out with a friend. You don't have to get on Facebook Live or Instagram or anything. Just go to the store. Do it for you because healing
Hmm.
starts first for you, not for me, you know?
Yeah. I love that. And can you tell us a little bit about how you even came to have Styling by Chi? I know that I know because I'm your sister, some of the stuff you've gone through, but can you just share about how some of the circumstances and the friends you've lost, how that directed you to expressing yourself creatively through fashion?
In high school is really when it jump started. I met my friend Anthony Miller in my freshman year, so I was about 14. He was like a really close friend, and that was like my buddy, kind of my partner in crime. Um, and I paid attention to the way he painted, the way he drew, because I was a visual artist before I was a stylist. So when I graduated high school, everybody's having a good time, everybody's transitioning, we're all figuring out what we want to do. And a few months after graduation, he committed suicide.
Mhm.
And the mistake I made, which I'm sure a lot of people um, make this mistake when they get, mistake when they get out of anything, is that I kept going. You know what I mean? I was trying to prove a point to myself that I wasn't hurting, even though I was. I was in denial, and I don't recommend that. Even though a lot of people don't know they're in denial, so I just kept going. I kept pushing. I'm like, we're gonna style this, we're gonna style that. I'm gonna style this person. I'm gonna study this look till 3 in the morning, until I just broke down, and I couldn't style anymore. You know what I mean? And then I went to therapy. I
Yeah.
don't recommend going to therapy when you're already down. When you feel like you don't feel like yourself, I recommend seeing a therapist. But my therapist taught me that dealing with a loss, and it may not be a person, um, it doesn't mean things are over. It just means that chapter has closed. That chapter has ended and things have changed. And when I thought he had passed away, when he passed away, I thought that styling was going to leave as well. So I had to give
Hmm.
it everything I got. A lot of people, when they transition from these relationships, they feel like, well, the old me is gone. So let me just go out with a bang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that could be going out with friends a lot. That could be doing things that you weren't necessarily permitted to do in the relationships when you were in them. It can be trying to show to family and friends that, hey, I'm the same person, even though you're not. And that's okay. So when my therapist taught me that, you may not be this person, but you can pivot and be somebody else. So when he taught me the balance of feeling and the balance of styling, um, it really, it really taught me healing. And I couldn't be selfish and just say, what I've learned, I'm just going to keep it to myself. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We may not be experiencing the same thing, but as I said, everybody deserves to be healed. So that kickstarted um, really styling by Chi and styling others and tying it into mental health.
Yeah. And you have a foundation now, don't you?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to add that in there.
Yeah, let's talk about it because that's a great point of the purpose of
Yeah,
that
no, we can talk about
foundation.
it.
Hmm.
So yes, she just called me out. I do. It's called Anthony's Art Foundation. It's in memory of my friend Anthony, and I taken a break from it because it kind of got heavy. But I
Yeah.
went to the high school that we both graduated from, and provided art supplies and different organizations, and provided Christmas gifts and art supplies for the kids, and talking to them about the importance of mental health, and that they have help, and that people love them and care about them. So
Yeah.
we put that on the back
No,
burner.
that's awesome. And I wanted to draw attention to that because so many people don't realize that healing comes through so many different mediums. You can heal
Right,
through, like you're talking about fashion, styling, seeing the creativity in that. For some, it's drawing. I know that was a thing for you. Um, and that freedom of expression, because a lot of times when you're dealing with mental health issues or just not in a good place in life, you feel repressed. You have so many things going on in your mind and your body, and you don't know how to let it out. So I wanted to bring that up to show the different ways that people can let out and express themselves, especially like when you're talking about feeling like you're not yourself anymore. Feeling a loss. Suicide is very, very hard for the survivors, right? So I think that it's so
right.
important that you went back and said, let me show people how to express themselves and let them know that they are seen, that they are heard. So I think that's an amazing thing. So
Thank you.
that's why I brought that up.
Put me on the spot.
So can you give us, with the time that we have, because I know we have a time limit, um, what are some tips for someone who is in their healing process. It could be for any level of mental health, but they're doing the work to heal. And now they want to make their outside start to match their inside. What are some little tips someone can do to maybe just start um, making themselves over, making themselves start to look and feel good again? And
One
this
thing
can
I
even go to
always
maybe a new mom or someone whose body has changed, just any kind of transition to feel better.
One thing I always recommend clients is to look at your favorite celebrity and look at their personal style, which everyone has one. I know I have mine. Mine is Issa Rae. um, and to study their style and try to duplicate it. You don't have
Hmm.
to, but add your flair to it. Um, and that's why I recommend consulting as well, because as you said, a lot of them transition and don't really know how to transition, but you don't necessarily, you know what, I'm going to say duplicate it. Because if you're getting your feet wet, I recommend it, but maybe it's your second look. Maybe you're going out to a brunch, add your flair to it. You know what I mean? I also recommend don't focus on trends because that's pressure too.
Hmm.
And trends are repeated and they're sold back to you just for the like a higher price. One thing I can say, and this may be taking it a step further because I've never actually said this to anyone, but I know everyone can remember a piece of their the little kid in themselves. I know you know the
Hmm.
proper term for that. It's like your inner child.
Hmm.
And think about something they've always wanted to wear, but they were so nervous. People are gonna look at me a certain way. People are gonna, what are people gonna say? Well, this isn't Hollister, this isn't Abercrombie, this isn't Tommy Hilfiger. I don't know what y'all wore back in the day.
Okay, don't do
But
that.
but duplicate it with who you are now.
Yeah,
When the inner child finishes healing, that's when the adult can step into the process and step into the world. That's when you can truly be who you are. So I feel like ending any chapter, whether that be mental, physical, any kind of pain, look back on your inner child and kind of tell them thank you. And it could be in your personal style, and it could be in things that you never thought that you could do. So
yeah,
when I say that, I mean, I've actually, maybe this is for myself.
hey,
I
revelations
say,
are good.
yeah, I definitely say that do something that you feel like you could never do. And that could be the
Hmm.
biggest step because pivoting isn't necessarily, it's reclaiming who you are, but sometimes it's just existing. And it
Yeah,
could just be, let me do something that I couldn't do before because I can do this. That's
yeah,
it. Because I want to prove to me, not anyone else, but I can do it. As a kid, I didn't feel like I could do it. Let me do it as an adult. It could be adding a pop of color in your wardrobe. You know what I mean? I would recommend for anyone, just as a stylist, as a woman first, as a human first, do what makes you happy in your style.
yeah.
And a lot of
That's
people probably push against that. If you want to wear a hoodie and some shorts, wear that hoodie and that short and those shorts. Kind of really reclaim yourself for yourself.
I like that.
So that's
I
something.
like that. And that's so important because there's a level of confidence that you get when you're wearing something bold. You know, when you have
Oh
the
yeah,
ability to wear something and you don't care what people think. There's some empowerment in that to be like, you know what, I'm going to wear it. I feel comfortable with myself. I don't care what you feel. This is my style.
yep,
I like it. I feel good. I look good. Whatever. So I like that. What do you say? Reclaim yourself for yourself.
yep.
I love that. I love that. Can you tell us a little bit about where we can find you if we want to schedule a consultation? I know you have blogs. I know you do different stories. You do a lot of stuff. So where can people find you?
You can find me on stylingbychi.com. She put my Instagram up here. I know spelling it out takes a long time, so it's Ebo Hippie, and she put it up there. But my Instagram is connected to my website as well. So stylingbychi.com. That's chi.com.
I want to thank you so much, and thank you for so much that you do to the youth. I mean, I think a lot of times we forget how how the youth hurts too when they experience a loss and things like that. We seem to push it under a rug and say kids are resilient, kids will bounce back. While in
Right.
the meantime, our adult selves are still not bouncing back from our childhood selves. So I
Yep.
love the work that you do for children. I think that's amazing. So thank you
Thank
so
you. I
much.
love the work you do for everyone.
I try to do what I can do.
See,
I don't try
see.
too much. Um, and I'm going to put my contact information here. As I said in the beginning, I'm an intuitive transformation coach. I assist individuals who are healing, exiting abusive relationships. It can be workplace, family, romantic. I'm helping you reclaim your voice, step into your purpose, and to heal loudly. And we can all use support, right?
Right.
Um, so my information is here. And again, I just want to thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for
So
having
if
me.
you absolutely, so if you don't mind, could you just stay on for a little bit? I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.